scans would soon confirm the worst. A ruptured left ACL, McStay reduced to a spectator for 2024.
Beck, is a devastating blow. Smith's 2024 season over before a ball had even been bounced. Scans at lunchtime confirming the worst, a ruptured ACL after an innocuous training incident here at the club.
Well, Carlton's Jack Silvani will miss the entire 2024 season after rupturing his ACL. The forward suffered the injury at training, with immediate scans confirming the club's worst fears.
How many more players and stars will go down before the opening round begins on the 7th of March? Like it or not, the AFL at the pointy end of the season is decided by the best team, and this is often the one who can navigate the injury bug and get to finals with a healthy list. Injuries during the season are often just plain unlucky, especially the ones that occur during a game. You can't do much about a hamstring here and there or a hurt shoulder from landing awkward. It is a part of the physical nature of the sport. The big issue that is glaring is that all these players are down and some out for good a bit over a month before we actually start real games. It just isn't right, and the AFL is lagging behind contemporaries in this space. 4 players in Bailey Smith, Jack Silvani, Jaden Hunter and Dan McStay are already out for the 2024 season, with all blowing out their ACLs. But the injury issue is running far deeper than these 4 players. Going by the recent Herald Sun injury update for all 18 clubs, 37 players were listed on the report with injuries relating to pre-season, either to overuse, training mishaps or match sim collisions. There are many others listed on the report that are unclear where they occurred too, so the number may be into the 40s. At the time of making this, there are 671 players on AFL clubs' lists. It means 5.5% of all players are currently out or training lightly about 6 weeks from the season start. And if we divide 671 by 18, the number of clubs, it comes out to an average list size of 37.3. So another way to look at it is the players currently on the injury report are equivalent to an AFL club. It's too many players for this time of the year. The pre-season and season itself makes this hard to fix. Clubs are coming back earlier than ever, with many players, especially younger ones, starting pre-season early November, and pretty much every club is back fully training by the end of that month. With the first game being the 7th of March and a couple weeks off for the Christmas break, it's about a 13 to 15 week pre-season for most players, equaling 3 to 3.5 months of preparation. They are professional athletes and it is their job, but that is a grueling period of time leading to the real season. And to the home and away campaign itself, as great as Gather Round was, a key element of it is it's an extra round. It didn't replace a normal round 5, but added to the 22 game year, making it 23. Add in the buys, and it's already 6 months before finals. This is fine, and it seems majority of football fans like the format of the home and away season and its length. For such a physical sport, it is a pretty long season, but the more games means the more money is made and the more money the players pocket. In the end, they agreed to all this. The big point is not the 6 to 7 month season, but the 3-month pre-season period and what goes on in it. Surely we can cut back on it, help preserve players instead of running them into the ground, and in some ways, protect the clubs from themselves. The best part about this is we can follow another major league which has had success in limiting overall injuries. If we head over to the NFL and the last NFLPA agreement with the league, the off-season rules are perfectly detailed in a 3-phase system. Overall, the off-season, which is what they call the pre-season, runs for 9 weeks, about 4 or 5 weeks less than our current schedule. Now I'm sure AFL clubs do build into the pre-season relatively slowly, increasing contact as the pre-season moves forward. But I'd say generally, match simulation with full contact started a couple weeks ago, which was nearly 2 months from the real games. For full physical contact, that is really early. Going back to the NFL, Phase 1 runs for 2 weeks and it's simply strength and conditioning activities. 90 minutes on the field with no contact and basic drills. Everything done in the weight room and facility, like meetings, can last no longer than 2 hours. Phase 2 lasts for 3 weeks and the same rules apply, but all coaches are allowed on field and various extended drill plays are allowed. Finally, in Phase 3, which runs for a month, 3 weeks are allowed to hold 10 training sessions in total. For example, week 1 of this you can hold 3 sessions, week 2 3, week 3 4, and then week 4 is normally scheduled for the mini camp. For the non-mini camp training, there is no live contact, although 11 on 11 and 7 on 7 is permitted. Finally, the Crescendo mini camp allows full match play and practices are done on a Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday for a maximum of 3.5 hours on field leading into the pre-season matches. If I was an athlete and asked to compare which training program seemed smarter, had less of an injury risk to athletes, and could still prepare them while making them feel fresh, the NFL program looks better. General complaints have been made by plenty of former players within the last decade regarding the length of the pre-season. Former St Kilda and Bulldog player Kobe Stevens brought this up 6 years ago on SEN. "I would love it to be a little bit shorter," Stevens told SEN Breakfast. "Up to your 3rd or 4th year, you really need to be in there training a lot to get that fitness base up. But for the older blokes, 6 years plus, I think it would be a great idea for them to come back after Christmas, be fresh when the season hits and roll into that 22 rounds pretty fresh. You get to the second half of the year and you get pretty sore and the body's pretty battered because you've been training since October, November." And how about ex-Liverpool fitness boss and current Adelaide high performance manager Darren Burgess? It was only a couple years ago when he came out and said the pre-season was way too long. Asked if the pre-season was too long, Burgess said, "Yes, I won't even hesitate on that. It is absolutely too long. Make the season longer and the pre-season shorter. TV gets more money, fans get to see more games. People think the season is too long as it is, but that's because the pre-season is too long, so everyone is fatigued." Now, I'm not saying we should exactly copy the NFL because our sport is different, but I think we can implement a few things to get everyone fresher and healthier for the season. We can easily cut out a month of the pre-season and make the first half of it no contact. You can still do all the necessary running to keep up endurance. Most clubs do this, but limiting the number of sessions to 3 or 4 per week would also help player health. Then for the final month or so, every club can build up the contact from say 3 hours of contact training per week up to 6 leading into the practice games. So instead of players getting beat up already at this exact point in time, AFL players would ease into physical training. A month to get acclimated to contact is plenty of time. For those who want to say it's up to the clubs to decide their schedule, then you're absolutely right. It is their choice, but it doesn't mean it should be forever. Look at the disaster at West Coast with their medical and fitness staff. I'm actually surprised the AFLPA hasn't requested such a grueling pre-season to become shortened, especially with the recent introduction of the added gather round. We already are seeing big change with concussion, and maybe the next step is to change the way we think about preparing for each upcoming season.